In Starfield, you can fulfill your Han Solo dreams by smuggling contraband and all sorts of nefarious goods around the galaxy. In today's video, I'll teach you how to become the best smuggler possible and avoid the law while doing it. Let's go! Let me know in the comments what other specific guides you'd like to see for Starfield. So firstly, let's talk about contraband, as it all revolves around contraband. So occasionally throughout the world and in various locations like on Neon at the Astral Lounge, where you find Aurora, you'll find these items that have this little yellow icon, which essentially means that that is contraband. So it's banned throughout the settled systems. So if you are carrying contraband and you take it into these locations, people will then not be very happy with you. So you'll find these contraband items like out in the world. There are also contraband chests at a lot of locations, especially Va'ruun Zealots locations, that you'll find chests with Va'ruun writings in them. So if you do find a location with them, just go on a hunt for that contraband chest. But the reason that contraband is so good is because it is worth a ton of money. So by selling it, you'll gain yourself a fair amount of credits because of the risk reward factor of carrying contraband. So the main thing you'll want to do is sell that contraband, right? In any major city, you'll need to pass a scanning check when you enter that system, whether it be Freestar Collective or the United Colonies. There are a couple of ways that can really help you with this. The first is the shield capacity cargo. So you'll need to add shielded capacity cargo holds to your ship, and you can do this at any of the less reputable ship engineers, like say the Red Mile or the Key in the Crick system. Basically ship engineers that, aren't a part of the law and the law-abiding systems will sell you shielded capacity cargo holds. So from here, by adding these, you'll then have a percentage of your cargo hold that'll be shielded capacity. So as long as your contraband that you are carrying is below the weight of your shielded capacity on your ship, you'll have a higher percentage chance of actually passing that scan, and the more shielded capacity you have, the more that increases. You can increase your chance of passing it even further by signal jammers, which you can add to your ship via at these same ship engineer places. You can add these signal jammers, and there are different tiers of them as well. The biggest thing to remember as well is that your contraband needs to actually be in your cargo hold. You can't be carrying it yourself. If you are carrying it yourself, you have like a brief window before the scan actually goes off where you can quickly open up the menu and move it into your cargo hold, so you can actually see that percentage chance go up. So just be mindful of that. If you're carrying it on your person, you'll need to actually move it into your cargo hold so you can pass those checks. If you do get caught and go to jail, you'll have to pay a fine and you'll lose all of your stolen items and contraband. You can get around losing your stolen items and contraband by, say, if you are carrying it yourself, you actually just like drop it in your ship itself, and then when you get arrested, you only lose the contraband and stolen items that you're actually carrying or they're in your cargo hold. If it's loose in your ship, you won't actually lose it. But for the most part, you don't want to get arrested. You want to pass these checks so you can actually sell all of those contraband goods. Now, where can you sell contraband? So essentially at any of like the major cities and locations, the Trade Authority is the most simplest way to sell these items. So the Trade Authority typically have a lot of credits, but they'll also accept contraband. Most vendors won't actually accept contraband. The Trade Authority typically will accept it, so you can just sell it to them as well. The best location to actually sell contraband is at the Key in the Crimson Fleet Star Yard. So they also have a Trade Authority vendor there that you can sell them to, but there are multiple other people at this location that will buy contraband as well. They all also seem to have a heap of credits, so it's so much easier to sell all of your contraband in the Crimson Fleet Star Yard in the Key. But also there's no scanning when you enter that star system either, because they're criminals, right? So why would they scan your ship for contraband? So you can go to that system freely when you're carrying contraband and just sell it as you see fit. Sometimes as well, the vendors may actually be out of credits and you still have contraband left. If you dump your contraband in, say, a chest at your outpost, you can just leave it there until, say, you want to go and sell it. So you can just go and grab it later and then go back into that system and then sell it if you want to, but you don't actually always have to sell it all at once. You can just store it in a chest somewhere, and as long as you're not actively carrying it on your ship or on your person, you can enter those star systems for free and just pass those checks without having to worry about it. There are a couple of like must-have skills, I guess, for contraband and smuggling. So the first is commerce, so you sell items for more, and that's the main one, right? Like selling items for more, selling contraband for more. These items are worth a ton of money, so you want to sell them for as much as possible. Payloads can also be helpful, just to allow your ship to carry more if you're struggling with weight, because some of the items can be heavy, especially when you're carrying a lot of them. The last skill that I would recommend is probably Starship Design, so that you can get like the better shielded capacity cargo as well as the signal jammers. Once you do unlock that skill, you'll get access to the higher tiers of the signal jammers, which increase your percentage chance of passing it, as well as the shielded cargo, because the more shielded capacity cargo you have on your ship, then the more contraband that you can carry to increase your percentage chance of avoiding it. So there is definitely benefits to those skills, but it's not necessary, and you can buy ships that have shielded capacity as well. So just when you are checking those menus, see if it has shielded capacity inbuilt, so then you don't have to sort of worry about it in that way either. But commerce is the main one. So now that we've covered the basics, you probably want to run some sort of smuggling missions, right? Because you want to be earning credits in this way. There are occasionally missions that will be sort of just like typical smuggling runs, like Mr. Soot in Hope Town will have you smuggle some goods to a gentleman in Aquila City. So if you talk to some people, be on the lookout for these sort of missions. But the fastest way to actually do smuggling missions and missions like this is via the Crimson Fleet mission board. So in order to access the Crimson Fleet mission board, to access these questionably legal jobs like smuggling and piracy and stealing and all that sort of fun stuff, you'll need to actually join the Crimson Fleet. The fastest way you can do this is essentially as soon as you land on New Atlantis, you can just like shoot someone in the face or steal something. And funnily enough, that will have you be arrested. And the first time you're arrested at the New Atlantis area or via the United Colonies, you'll get taken for a like special mission, which will initiate the Crimson Fleet quest line. So from there, you just follow all of that sort of process as well, and then you'll eventually join the Crimson Fleet and get access to the key. Now, obviously, wherever you take that storyline is entirely up to you, but you just essentially want to do this to get access to the key and to the Crimson Fleet, because then once you're on board and you're an official member, you can access their mission board and run their missions. Basically the same as any of the other mission boards for the other factions, except theirs are not really legal. So you'll do things like piracy and stealing and smuggling being the main one. So all of these missions will net you credits when you do them, as all the missions seem to do. But it's worth pointing out that with these missions, there is the added risk of, doing things that are illegal and getting caught, getting bounties put on you, and that sort of a thing. So just be mindful of that when you're doing these missions, and be careful about your companions as well, because a lot of the companions don't particularly like the evilness of the Crimson Fleet. So if you are even just doing like the Crimson Fleet storyline, that sort of thing, just be mindful of the companions that you do have with you. These missions net you a fair amount of credits, and they're typically pretty simple to do, same as all like the mission board missions. They're not too difficult to do. The Crimson Fleet ones are just a little different because of their illegal operations, and every time you return to the key, the mission board will have updated, like if you finished a mission or something like that. So if you're just specifically like looking for smuggling missions, then returning to the key often to check that mission board is probably the best thing to do. Though it's pretty rare that the smuggling missions are the ones that show up on the mission board. For the most part, for me, it's often been like piracy and stealing. I'm curious, guys, if you want to let me know in the comments what sort of missions show up for you on the mission board. Like I'm wondering if they're like completely random, or if there's like a weightedness to them. Like maybe they typically show like piracy and stealing as they're more common than smuggling. I'm not really sure, but regardless of the mission that shows up, you can go out and do it, and you'll net yourself a fair amount of solid credits just by doing these, and it will then allow you to buy, say, upgrades to your ship to add more shielded capacity, or upgrades to signal jammers and that sort of thing. If you've got a bounty on your head in either the Freestar Collective or the United Colonies, you don't want to go into those systems and get arrested, you can build a self-service bounty clearance at any of your outposts, and then you can actually just pay those credits from that terminal to clear your bounty, so you can access those systems without being arrested. But the Crimson Fleet is definitely a great resource to utilize for these sort of behaviors and things that you can do out in the world. But I'm curious, guys, if you want to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.